It's always a good morning and a great day when we're adding to our library services here in Louisville, and we've been blessed to be able to do a lot of that, Bill Hollander, thanks to you and many of our council people over the years. Round of applause for Bill Hollander. Bill was active with the library and the Library Foundation before he was a Metro Council person, so it's great to see it come full circle here, and especially here kind of with the storied life that we've had here at the Portland Library. And we're really thrilled and grateful that Portland will be joining the other libraries throughout the city that have been constructed, opened, or updated throughout the 12 years of my administration. When I was announced the mayor, I said we're going to have 3 values guide our city. First value, lifelong learning. Second, health. And third, compassion. And I chose lifelong learning because any place that you go where there's activity and growth taking place, there are curious people that are always saying, how can we learn more? How can we invent more, innovate more, improve more? And if you've got that embedded in your city's culture, good things are going to happen in terms of growth and opportunity. And to me, the center of lifelong learning, especially when it comes to physical manifestation, is our library system. It traditionally has been throughout history. And people for a while were saying, I don't know, are libraries still relevant? Are they going to go the way of the dinosaur because of the web? And clearly the answer to that has been a resounding no way. Libraries are more important than ever in terms of vessels for learning and gathering, community input. So they're really the place that bring us together to learn in the traditional sense, but learn from each other as well. So I'm thrilled to have been in a position and grateful to have all this investment in our libraries throughout the past 12 years. We've invested north of $50 million in terms of city money and private money from the foundation and others in the libraries. We've been able to open new libraries in Fairdale, St. Matthews, and Middletown. We've also built a fabulous regional library system that's the envy of the nation. The Southwest Regional Library, the South Central Regional Library, and the Northeast Regional Library. And with the funds from the American Rescue Plan, the plan is there to take the main library downtown and, in effect, make that the regional library for the downtown area. So we've got a lot of exciting investment going into that, over $10 million. We've also renovated and reopened the Shawnee, Shively, Bon Air, and Iroquois libraries. So we have been very busy with our library system, and we're writing now the next chapter of this wonderful library here, which opened in a different building in 1903 with a $5.5 million project that we've previously announced that includes city, federal, state, and private funds. And that's how these projects always end up coming together, through a partnership of so many different people. And I love the library partnerships because these are partners in the pursuit of realizing human potential, as lifelong learning helps people explore and make all the difference. And I want to thank all of the people that have helped us build this library system. The results and the outcomes are astounding. Libraries make a real difference. In these past 12 years, 28.4 million visitors have come to our libraries, checked out 40.6 million books, and have been able to attend nearly 90,000 free educational classes and programs. That's an astounding amount of achievement and activity. Let's hear it for our library team here. Great job, everybody. Now, Portland's project, which is a renovation of the 6,000 square foot standing library, and its construction of a 4,500 square foot addition, where we're standing right now, will make it more accessible. This library's had accessibility challenges over the years that are simply not acceptable. So an elevator will be added, and will also allow for a larger collection of books and materials, more computers, and a bigger public meeting space. So here to tell you more about this library and the Louisville Free Public Library System, please welcome Library Director Lee Birchfield, who's been doing an outstanding job of leading us. Lee?
Good morning. I'm going to echo some of what Mayor Fisher already said. I want to start, though, in 1997, which is when I was hired by Louisville Free Public Library as the assistant manager of the Iroquois branch out on Woodlawn Avenue. And once I got on staff here, we would have branch manager meetings and supervisor meetings that would rotate around the city. So I've been coming to the Portland Library since 1997, and what I can tell you about it is that we've painted, we've done some repair on windows, we've done some plumbing repairs and kept the roof in good shape. But this library has really not been substantially improved really since it was built. I think this particular building opened around 1913, was funded by a Carnegie grant. And as the mayor said, it's 6,000 square feet, but if you haven't been inside, if you go inside, what you'll find out is because of the handicap accessibility issues, there really is not a great deal of space that is usable as public space. So the main section of the library, I think we calculated when we did a walkthrough a week or two ago, was around 1,500 or 1,600 square feet. It is by far the smallest area of any of our libraries, which is where we house the books and the computers and all of the other resources that families count on the library to provide. There's a beautiful meeting room. The meeting room is an auditorium style. If you had an auditorium in your high school or elementary school cafeteria, it's a raised stage with a little, I guess a proscenium is what you would call it, over the stage. But in order to get from the main floor of the library to the auditorium, you have to go outside the front door of the library and down a ramp to come in through a ramp that leads into the auditorium, because there's no indoor accessibility between those two levels of the building. There are 3 other levels of the building that are only accessible by stairs, and it creates all kinds of challenges, and the end result is that the Portland Library is in desperate need of more space to provide better services. Over 10 years ago, a set of architectural drawings was created for a renovation of this building that would have added an elevator, and it would have solved some of the accessibility issues, but it wouldn't have added a lot of additional space to what's already here. Over the course of the years, things would come up that provided opportunities for the library to expand or improve in other places. And each time that happened, the Portland project got deferred for another year or another 2 years. So what I'm here today to celebrate personally is the end of all of those deferrals of the improvement of the Portland Library. So what we're going to end up with is about a 10,000 square foot building that will solve the handicap accessibility issues between all of those eccentric levels inside by installing an elevator. We'll have a much larger space for the materials collection so that we can have a book collection that can really support the growing renaissance that's happening right now in Portland. The other thing that we will do, Portland is one of 3 libraries in our system that is open fewer hours during the week than other library locations. So starting with this year's budget, the mayor included in the budget additional funding so that when Portland reopens, it can be open the same number of hours during the week from Monday through Saturday as libraries in Jeffersontown and Middletown and St. Matthews. So I'm really excited about that as well. I'm going to ask all of you here today for your help with 2 things. One of them the mayor's already talked about. There are a couple of myths about libraries that are really persistent, and they're just wrong. And one of them is that people don't need libraries anymore because everything is on the internet. And if you've spent much time on the internet, you know that there is a lot of information on the internet, and you probably also know that a lot of it is wrong. So there is a lot of information on the internet, but not everything is on the internet. And even more importantly, not everything that is on the internet and is accurate is free. So you can read maybe 2 articles from the Lexington Herald-Leader, but if you want to read more than that in the course of a month, you might need your public library. If you want to read a bestseller, you probably can't get it for free on the internet, but you can get it for free from your library. So I want to ask all of you here today, the next time you hear somebody say, you don't need libraries anymore, everything's on the internet, tell them that's just wrong. That's just wrong, and they need to stop saying it. Thank you. Thank you. I have a couple of fans in the crowd. I've planted some people. You tell them I said, stop saying that. The second thing is that people think all that libraries do is books, and libraries are so much more than that. We are books, and people who love to read love the fact that we are books, but we're also educational programming that helps children be prepared to succeed when they start kindergarten, helps them read on grade level by third grade, helps high school seniors prepare to take an ACT or SAT test so that they can get into college, helps people find jobs, helps connect people with social services. There is so much more that a library can do than just provide books. Not that books are not important, but so much more. So the next time somebody says, why do I want to go to the library? All they have is books. Tell them that's not true, and they need to stop saying that. Okay, the second thing I need your help with is reviving the Friends of the Portland Library. There's a very active community group here in town, Portland Now. I'm looking for Jackie. Portland Now, I believe, is the name of that. They sort of serve as the Friends of the Portland Library, but the Friends of the Portland Library can be its own standalone group. Leaders from the Friends of the Louisville Free Public Library are here today. I would love to see, by the time this renovation and expansion is done, there to be a vibrant and active Friends group around the Portland Library, because we need the help of Friends to make a library successful. So I just want to toss that out there. Then the last thing that I want to say is thank you. I have a goodly number of people that I want to thank, but it'll only take a moment. I want to start with Mayor Fisher, who for 12 years has traveled around this community telling people about the importance of lifelong learning, talking about how important libraries are as a resource for lifelong learning, and also helping us get funding to improve our library system. So thank you very much for that. Councilwoman Purvis is here, and I want to thank her for her support. What I didn't say a while ago when I talked about Portland is I have wanted for 20 years to do something to help this library be what it needs to be for this community. Councilwoman Purvis has been encouraging and supportive and done everything she can to help. Metro Council, Councilman Bill Hollander, chair of the Budget Committee, has given us capital funding over the course of the years. The accelerator team this year generously funded 4 projects out of ARPA funds, and without those funds, these projects just wouldn't be possible. I also saw Chris Bischoff here. Chris is our representative at the Kentucky Department for Libraries. He's our regional librarian. Chris is also always involved in our applications for state library construction grants. So he helped us get a state library construction grant for this project, $1.2 million of state money that really gave this project momentum. I also always have to thank Chandra Gordon and the Library Foundation. The Library Foundation provides funding that allows us to achieve more as a library system than we could with public resources alone. I haven't seen Bill Dunbar here. He's the chair of the Library Foundation this year. But Chandra and Bill have just been so great to the library over the past few years. I also want to thank the library staff, particularly the staff of the Portland Library. They don't know what's happening because we don't know exactly what's happening, and they're hanging in there, and they're just trying to be flexible, and so thank you, Jackie, and to all of the library staff that are here. And I also want to acknowledge our partners in this venture, JRA Architects and Sullivan and Cozart Construction Managers. Colin from JRA is here. Ashley, the interior specialist, is also here. They've done great work for us on other projects. I'm really looking forward to seeing what we can accomplish here. There are no more deferrals. The future of the Portland Library is right now. Thank you all very much. I appreciate it.
All right, thank you, Lee, and thanks to the entire LFPL team for just doing a wonderful job each and every day. This is a high contact service point for our community with all the visitors that come into the library. Now, my wife is a real power user of the library in terms of all the virtual offerings that are out there as well. And you can go as deep as you want with what the library offers, and you will be amazed to find what's available online in terms of training and different offerings. And if you're a savvy shopper, you can save a lot of money by taking advantage of what's available in the library free of charge. Also, I would encourage you, one of the happiest things that's happened in my past year was our oldest daughter moved back to town about a year or so ago, and with that came our first granddaughter, and at the age of 2, she got her library card. So that was a happy day for our family. So I encourage all parents and grandparents out there to get your kids' library cards as soon as you can. We're very blessed to be here in Council District 5 with Councilwoman Donna Purvis, and she helps shepherd these investments through the community and interacts with the community to make sure these are the very best projects that they can be. The council has been very supportive with our investments in library throughout town these past 12 years or so. I think we're all unified on the vision of lifelong learning and how important the investments are in our library. So please welcome our Councilwoman Donna Purvis.
Someone always taller than me is here first, so I always have to readjust the mic. So I want to say welcome to everyone that is here to witness the beginning of this library's rebirth. It's been a long time coming, but it is finally here. While I never doubted the interior substance that would enhance the knowledge and the learning of the community family here in this library, and I know that a lot of people have come here to embark and take their literary path, but with the newness and the updates that are coming ahead, it would be more inviting to come here. It would be a welcoming feeling to come here, and it would feel good to come here. I've had the opportunity to visit some of the other libraries that was mentioned earlier, Okolona, Fairdale, St. Matthews, and they are the state of the art. Something that I've always wanted here, something that I always envision here. I know that there's the land available. I know that the opportunity is available, and I'm so glad to see that this is finally coming here. For children and children alike in this community, this is just another staple here in this community. I know that a lot of people have given up on the progress of Portland. I never have, and I never will. And this right here is proof positive that Portland is on the map to keep progressing. So I welcome everyone to come here and embark on their dreams. This is a place where you can partner in your educational endeavors, and this is a place where you can come here in Portland that will actually take you outside of the Portland area, that you can go around the world in this building. So I would be remiss if I didn't say thank you to Mayor Fisher and your administration. Thank you to my colleagues, Councilman Bill Hollander and alike. Thank you so much for believing in this project. And most of all, thank you for giving us the money to do it. So thank you.
Now, Councilwoman, I want to say Portland is hot. You know, we got a lot of investment going on in Portland. Of course, Waterfront Park Phase 4, we should be breaking ground for that before the year's over as well. So there's a lot of new activity going on in Portland. It's really exciting to see as our community starts its investment in our West in a really dramatic way here over the last decade or so, and Portland certainly is no exception to that. I mean, the West End of Louisville, sometimes Portland don't want to be included in the West, is big. You know, we've got about 60,000 residents in the West End. So if it was its own city, it'd be the 3rd largest city in the entire Commonwealth. So there's a lot of different action taking place in the West, and we're appreciative for that. So much of the work that we've been able to accomplish at the library is because of the Library Foundation. And I really appreciate the foundation, Chandra, because they often challenge us too. It's like, we'll say, okay, we got $10 million for this project. And they're like, well, you know, we can make the architecture a little bit better, and we could add this feature there and add this there. And it's not unusual for us to hear that from people, but the Library Foundation then says, and we're going to raise the money for it. And that's the kind of partner you want. So please welcome their Executive Director, Chandra Gordon.
Good morning, everyone. To be a truly inclusive, thriving community, we have to invest in the initiatives that respond to not just the needs of our community, but the aspirations and the individual cultures we find there. And no institution does that better than our public libraries. So it's truly exciting today that we have a new beginning for our Portland branch. It is already an anchor in this community, but it is poised to do more and be more for the people that live here. And for that reason, the Library Foundation is so excited to say that we are doing more as well. We are going to raise the private dollars to enhance the great public investment that has been made in this library. And we invite you to join us. So I don't know if you noticed our table over here, but we invite you, if you're here today, to come and find out how you can engage with the foundation to do more for our Portland Library. There's so much possibility here. So visit us or join us on our website at lfplfoundation.org. There's a lot that's going to happen. We want your input. We want your partnership. And I can't help but say thank you to everyone that's here and do another shout out to our friends. They are on the ground. They are in our libraries. They are doing the work. So I suggest you reach out to them as well. Thank you, everyone.
All right, we're closing up here. So obviously a very historical place in our city. Portland was thriving more than the city of Louisville back in the day before the canal went into place. So there's been a lot of history on this property right here. And I'm struck by the fact that we're building on now what we started more than 100 years ago in Louisville. And that's a nice thought for all of us here, that, we pass through this earth and we try to leave a little imprint and make things better. Nobody knew that 100 years ago, and nobody will know that 100 years from now. But I think we can say we're trying to do our part, and I'm grateful for all the supporters that are here today. The library has been a real cornerstone of our community for a long time, and a lot of people have helped along the way. So I really want to thank the outstanding efforts of our library employees, our management, our staff, all of the volunteers that have come through the library, that have gone on to do amazing things in our community, just library lovers in general. I want to thank Katie Dalinger, who is here with us. Katie's my Deputy Chief of Staff, and she oversees the library systems for my office. So, Katie, I appreciate the good work you do. Let's give Katie Dalinger a round of applause. And let's just thank the taxpayers. I get to get up here and make these announcements. It's our taxpayers' money that pays for most all of this, and then generous people in the community as well. So I want to thank the citizens of Louisville for believing in ourselves and continuing to invest in ourselves to continue to grow a great city here. So with that, let's lay another foundation of success for the next 100 years, and let's start by doing that one shovel at a time. Thanks, everybody. We'll toss it on 3, 2, 1. All right. Congratulations.